much for joining us and being back. This is still Enterprise The Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for today. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), citing irreconcilable differences and a shift away from the party's founding principles. In a letter dated July 14, 2025, Atiku thanked the PDP for past opportunities, including serving as vice president and running twice as its presidential candidate. He expressed sadness over the decision, saying the party's direction no longer aligns with his values. In swift reaction, PDP leaders, including Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and former Deputy National Chairman Bode George, insisted that Atiku's departure will not affect the party's chances in the 2027 elections. Makinde described politics as a game of interest and maintained that PDP remains a strong institution. George criticized Atiku's move as selfish, advising him to retire from politics and spend time with his family, having already attained significant political positions. Meanwhile, a senior PDP official dismissed Atiku's exit as unsurprising and urged the media to focus on more pressing issues like hunger and hardship. He emphasized that Atiku had left the party before and it didn't collapse. The party called for a national focus to shift from political defections to the country's economic and social challenges. As we have Emeka Madunago. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for hanging on.
Thank you very much.
So let's get to the crux of the matter here. This is the second time Atiku is leaving the party. And just like it was stated here in my reportage, the party has still not gone on the bridge, or of course hasn't collapsed yet. Do you think anything will be wrong with the PDP, knowing that big wigs are leaving it? Dele Momodu just, of course, sent his letter.
David
Mark too. Who else has done that? I guess other people that have equally done that, but these are the big stakeholders that have, of course, said they were no longer interested in the party. What do you think will be left of the party?
Well, to continue with business as usual, but it won't be business as usual.
So what's the business as usual?
Business as usual, the interim leadership remains there until there's a national convention to elect a new set of leaders. To elect or select a new set of leaders. I mean, when I say elect, an elective convention or select an affirmative convention, whereby you just affirm a set of leaders, just, like has been done in the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, in the interim, affirming the leadership of David Mark and Ralph Aregbesola as national chairman and national secretary, respectively, of the party. So, the issues remain. The party was supposed to have held a NEC meeting, a National Executive Committee meeting, but it has not held. The other day, when it was to hold a meeting at its national secretariat, policemen invaded the place and chased people out. That is anti-democratic. What is the business of the police with a political meeting where there is no threat of violence, where people are not fighting? What's the business of the police? Why? You invade the party secretariat? What you are doing is that you are denying millions of Nigerians who subscribe to the ideals of that party. You are denying them the right to be heard. And that is unconstitutional. That is a crime. That's a crime against the Constitution, because the Constitution says you shall not discriminate against any Nigerian based on status. But what you are doing is that you are shutting the democratic space. You are shutting them off the democratic space. Because their leaders, their party leaders are meeting, and then you are shutting them off. That is very wrong. And that is why people say Nigeria is a banana republic. Because you have people in power, you have people in the security agencies who don't care about upholding democratic norms. So, everybody has been saying, no, Atiku is the problem, or PDP, forgetting the fact that Atiku was one of the people who saved the PDP from collapse in 2014. They're forgotten. After I left in 2014, in 2018 is what I wanted to say, not 2014. Now, remember that there was a problem with the leadership of the PDP at the time. A crisis between Ali Modu Sheriff and then Ahmed Mohamed McCarthy, former governor of Kaduna State, about who was the authentic national chairman. And if you remember what the Supreme Court said, the Supreme Court said that McCarthy was rightly qualified to be regarded as national chairman. That Ali Modu Sheriff should find his way. And that's as simple as, and that's how the party came back, and got its bearing again. So when people say, oh, Atiku should quit the presidential race, and I ask them for what? He has his right as a Nigerian. Somebody was even saying the other day that in some countries Atiku could sue people telling him because that's a crime. It's called ageism. You are now saying because he's old. How old is Donald Trump?
Or Joe Biden.
How old was Joe Biden?
Yeah. Begin
to name them. You say you should get younger people. Which have you given younger people the chance to get into politics?
But to get into governance? The younger people
are more interested in working as thugs, in working as bouncers, as data boys for these politicians. How many younger Nigerians today have come out boldly to say, I am coming out? Because they know that nobody is going to give them a voice. They know that they won't be given the ticket. You see the Nigerian government, shamelessly talking about, congratulating people. Oh, this one became a mayor in Canada. Oh, this one became a council leader in the UK. This one was this. Ask them if in Nigeria, if those people were in Nigeria, where they will get to. So Atiku Abubakar has left the PDP, and things will never be the same again. Because let me tell you, Atiku is one of the people who has actually upheld, held the PDP, supported the PDP. It's too bad he has had to, he had to leave. But honestly, I felt that, his movement in November 2013, his defection, was actually where he demystified himself. Sadly, he shouldn't have left. He shouldn't have left.
What would he have done?
No, he should have remained.
Because Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was insistent on running.
Second term.
Yes, and which the constitution of the party didn't provide for.
No.
So
the constitution of PDP. No, let's not get it wrong.
Yes.
PDP doesn't have zoning in its constitution. No. PDP doesn't have power shift in its constitution.
So how did Nyesom Wike conclude on? Yes.
No, it's a gentleman's agreement. In politics, there's what we call conventions. You have gentleman's agreement. Oh, the North has been there for 2 years, for 2 terms, 8 years. Okay, let it move to the South. Like in the States, do you see anywhere in Nigerian constitution where it says that there shall be rotation among senatorial districts? There are states like Anambra State that have adopted it, that okay, we will have rotation. Some states like Lagos, it's more about religion. Okay. Oh, Christian, Muslim. Yeah. So all these things are not constitutional matters. These things, because politics is about interests, interests.
But can they be referred to as unwritten laws?
No, they are not laws. I don't want us to be legalistic. Because if you take politics on the strict legalistic path, you will miss out a lot of things. You will lock out a lot of people. You will miss out on a lot of opportunities. What am I saying in essence? It was taken for granted that Jonathan, continued the first term of his late former president, former President Umar Musa Yar'Adua before he died. Now, Jonathan wanted another opportunity, just another 4 years. He wouldn't have taken anything if Atiku Abubakar had remained, because, it was a big miscalculation for him to have thought he could have got the APC's ticket over and above Muhammadu Buhari, who had been running since 2003.
But he wasn't, the chances, as at the time, Buhari wasn't really looking like someone that literally would have been given that ticket.
Yeah, we'll answer that. Yes. Let me tell you something. Buhari, in 2003, ran as Buhari on the platform of the ANPP, the All Nigerian People's Party. He lost. There was a set of objectives at that time. According to Buba Galadima, a chieftain of the New Nigeria People's Party, some days ago, he said Buhari was drafted in to stop the Southwest, to stop Yorubas from the alleged plan to retake Ilorin, the capital of Kwara State. That's what Buhari Galadima said. Good and fine. He lost in 2003. He ran again in 2007 against his kinsman, Umar Musa Yar'Adua. He failed. He ran again in 2011. Remember, in 2011, Atiku Abubakar was a candidate, presidential candidate, of the PDP. No, sorry, Goodluck Jonathan was a presidential candidate of the PDP. Atiku ran against him as an aspirant, but he lost.
In the primaries?
In the primaries.
Okay.
So, now, 2015 beckoned. And then, some politicians from the South felt that, okay, we could make good use of Buhari, because Buhari had an appeal. He was the most popular politician in the North as at that time. Excuse me. He was known as Megaskia, that's the Speaker of Truth, and all of that, his white apparel and all of those things. There were issues around him that really...
flying economy. I remember very well at the time.
Forget all this. Well, taking sachet beverages and milk, all those things were just for photo ops. They didn't really mean those things. So now, he appealed to... But as at that time, as at 2013, he was in CPC. Congress of Political Parties. Let me say as at 2012. Congress for Progressive Change, I'm sorry. So, some politicians, like the current president, Bola Tinubu, felt that, well, we can extend Buhari's reach beyond the North by adding some votes to him in the South. The famed 12 million votes he kept getting in the North, that we can help him do better than that by 2015. Let's come into a coalition. Let's bring CPC. Okay, they spoke to some people in PDP, because remember, at that time, somewhere like Rotimi Amechi, who was governor of Rivers State, was having problems with Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who was the president at that time. You had Kwankwaso, Kanu, who had issues with Jonathan. You had, Murtala Yako, of Adamawa State. You had a Tambua, Sokoto. You had all of those people, who were Erufai too, So they all came together in a coalition, even including Rochas Okorocha, who brought part of ABGA, on whose platform he became the governor of Imo State. So they all came together, 5 political parties. The ACN, Tinubu's ACN, Buhari's CPC, then the All Nigeria People's Party, people like Obonayonu. Then you had the new PDP, Rotimi Amechi and co. Then you had ABGA, Rochas Okorocha and co, who came together and formed, and applied for registration as the All Progressives Congress, APC, in April 2013. By November of that year, Atiku led 5 PDP governors away to APC. It was a strategic blunder. It was a big blunder. 7 northern governors met with President Barack Obama, US President then, and told him Jonathan was this, Jonathan was oppressing them in the North. Jonathan claimed he was fighting Boko Haram, but he was using it against the North, blah, 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 blah,
and
blah,
of course,
blah,
the Chibok girls...
no, the Chibok girls came the following year, 2014. I'm talking of 2013.
Okay.
So that was a strategic blunder. By the following year, Bukola Saraki and co, they left the PDP. That was a strategic blunder. Because what would have happened is that if Atiku had subsumed his ambition, if he had waited, I said, okay, if I running against Buhari, who had run 2003, 2007, 2011, if I run against him in this coalition, it will not work. Because Buhari has already, the famous 12 million votes in his kitty from the North, guaranteed from the North. I don't have that. One, I have money, Buhari claims not to have money, but he has a grassroots following.
Yeah.
And then the reason for the formation of that coalition was to actualize Buhari's ambition to become president. Not because it was an open sesame, you know, where Kwankwaso ran, Sam Daisaya, the publisher of leadership newspaper, ran, Atiku ran, Buhari. No, that was just to make the process look credible. The person for whose presidential ambition the APC was formed was Muhammadu Buhari. It was clear, but Atiku felt he could muzzle his way and become the APC's presidential candidate, which was a big blunder.
But doesn't that show desperation on his part, which is still very
Desperation,
evident? Which
yes.
is still evident.
Poor political.
No,
not even. That's why I said by moving in 2013, he demystified himself.
But don't you think he is worsening the situation now?
No, well, no, it's a different kettle because
how was it different?
In terms of the coalition.
Yes.
No, okay, well, I get your point.
Yes.
In a way, he's like trying to reenact what happened in 2013. In April 2013,
which might cost him.
The coalition was formed to actualize the presidential ambition of Muhammadu Buhari. This is 2025. And it is generally believed that this coalition was formed to actualize the presidential ambition of Mr. Peter Obi. Because if you look at it today, to all intents and purposes, Peter Obi is the most popular opposition politician in Nigeria today.
Are you sure? Does he have that cult following in
No,
the
well,
north,
you can go
in the northeast and the northwest?
No, you see, that was the mistake people made. Buhari didn't have that following in the south. But some people were willing to bring that cult following from the south. Actually, if you look at it, Tinubu's supporters have been saying that they brought 2.4 million votes and added to Buhari's 12 million votes and got 14.4 million votes that he used to beat Jonathan, who had 12 million votes, that they brought. So Peter Obi has a cult following in the south.
Which of the south here? Because we know that southwest is out of it.
No, you cannot. You see, we are talking politics. And let me tell you something. The appeal, go out on the streets. I don't work for Peter Obi. I'm not a politician. But I'm just telling you my observation as a journalist. Out there, it is clear. Or else, the Tinubu, the Tinubu people and all of that will not be attacking Peter Obi 24/7. As if he's the president. I mean, if they didn't feel he's a threat to Tinubu, they wouldn't concentrate so much on him. Yes.
But they have always asked for, I do not know why they have made this clarion request, that the PDP, as at the time when they were all in the PDP, should ensure they zone their presidency to the south. Don't you think that was because they felt that Peter Obi was an easy run through?
You see what happened
than Atiku Abubakar, who had more than enough clout in the northern part of Nigeria and might glide through in the south.
What happened was that Atiku would have had his, Atiku Abubakar would have had his own moments if he had supported Jonathan in 2015. Because Buhari said it at that time that after this third time, he would not run again. Atiku could have instead built a coalition. He would have done either of two things. He would have either built an agreement with Jonathan as president, or built an agreement with Tinubu in the coalition to say, okay, Buhari is old. Buhari is this. He's not old or acceptable. Push me forward. Okay, let's go and meet Obasanjo, who is a major stumbling block for my ambition, and let us resolve it. Remember, Olagunsoye Oyinlola, former governor of Osun State, he brought them together. He brought Atiku and Obasanjo together, to a meeting to say, let's resolve whatever the problems are, let's resolve them. So there were all these moves were made. So if Atiku had said, okay, no, let me hold on. Let me support Jonathan 2015 to 2019. 2019 is just here, just around the corner. Then Jonathan, you are going to pledge to me that, okay, that you will support me to succeed in 2019. Atiku would have had an easy walkover in 2019. It would have been an easy walkover in 2019 for him. Because, look at the 2011. Jonathan held a meeting before the 2011 election, presidential election. He held a meeting with Tinubu at State House Marina here in Lagos. And then, please, allow me, mobilize your people for me to win Lagos. Please, because Lagos has a large number of votes. Well, and he agreed. That election, you see, Obasanjo gave conditions.
Because let's not forget, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the current president, has been nursing this same desire for a very long time.
Let's leave.
Yes.
Look, let me tell you something. What I'm saying is this. We're talking about Atiku.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that Jonathan depended on his agreement with Tinubu, and it helped him. Even agreement with Obasanjo, it helped him to win in 2011, both agreements. But Jonathan didn't stick to the agreements. There were certain things which I understand, certain commitments he made, which he didn't stick to. And that was the reason for the coalition in 2013, in April 2013. So if Atiku had said no, he could have gone to meet Tinubu and said, hold on, let's hold on. Let Jonathan go. You see this Buhari, there isn't much we can gain from him. Buhari is rigid in his ways and all of that. Let's hedge our bets on Jonathan. Let's stay with him. Whatever Jonathan, blah, 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 even though, because part of it was also survivalist. Remember Jonathan, it was under Jonathan that Tinubu was dragged to Code of Conduct Tribunal. Yeah. So it was also a survivalist move on the part of Tinubu to preserve himself. You understand? Nobody will hear that war is coming and stay. So it was also survivalist. But if Atiku could have mobilized Murotimi Amechi, whatever problems he had with he didn't even have problems directly with Jonathan. It was with the wife. Yeah. Patience. It could have been resolved. Round table, private meeting could have been resolved. And said, okay, fine, please. Due to this and this and this, let's allow him. Let him finish 8 years. Or that would have been, that would have been 10 years. Well, you can call it 8 years, sort of.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Because he spent 2 years on Yaradua.
4 years, and
6,
another 4 years.
And then 2 years, 4 years, that's 6 years. And that 4 years, that would have been 10 years, unprecedented. But they could have sat down with him and reached an understanding that, okay, let us back you. That coalition of APC wouldn't have been formed. It would never have come up. Buhari would have just run on his own. If Jonathan said, okay, based on our previous commitment, okay, I will not prosecute any of you. Because let me tell you, in 2013, from what I learned, Buhari was not in the country throughout 2013. He was sick. I got to know this from a friend, he's late now. He was an aide to a northern governor. He said they went looking for Buhari in his house in Kaduna. And because they said they had not heard anything about him, they had not seen him in a long time. I remember even at that time, where I was, the media house I was working, we were trying to reach Buhari for an interview. But nobody had an idea where he was. So it was that governor that eventually went to Buhari's house and found out that he had been in the UK on medical treatment. Excuse me. So immediately Buhari came in, he was one of the first people that got to know. So they went to him. So now, throughout that 2013, Buhari wasn't around. Buhari wasn't there when they formed APC. He didn't even know about what was going on. They had to go and present it to him. Even one of the things they presented to him was Muslim ticket. But he said no, that he didn't know how to push that one. So if Atiku had allowed Jonathan, say, okay, go 2015, but let's, do this. And if Jonathan too had proved himself to be a keeper of agreement, I'm telling you, he would have won in 2015. APC would never have been formed. Jonathan would have won in 2015. By 2019, Atiku would have had an easy ride.
So now,
2019 to 2027, Well, of course, there wouldn't have been a Bola Tinubu on the... Yes, they wouldn't have featured. Yes, because he came because of APC. He wouldn't have featured. Yes. So even if Tinubu had gone ahead with the coalition in 2013, of course, if Atiku had distanced him, kept a distance from it, Atiku would have been able to convince... Because remember, they were both in PDM, People's Democratic Movement, formed by the late General Shehu Musa Yaradua, you know, the former chief of staff, you know, Supreme Headquarters. So both of them, Tinubu and Atiku, were in PDM. So Atiku would have been able to convince, you know, those governors and all that. Because he led them to the International Conference Center where they held the, was it Yaradua Center, where they held the declaration now in November 2013 that they were quitting PDP. He could have kept them back. He could have told them, no. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. He could have even gone to Obasanjo. That look. But again, Jonathan too, he didn't keep agreements with Obasanjo. And then some things happened, unfortunately, like what one of Obasanjo's aides told some of us when we met with him in his house, you know, where he said, you know, he explained the circumstances that led to Obasanjo tearing his PDP membership card. That he was the one that caused the problem. It wasn't Jonathan. It was the one that caused. All of those things, Atiku would have even been a unifier, a builder. He would have unified the PDP in such a way that his ambition would have been realized. He would have had enough time to reach out, to say, okay, oh, President Obasanjo, please don't be angry. We will resolve this thing. This and this. Because after all, Obasanjo himself, there were agreements he had with people. How many did he keep?
Very true, Emeka. Yeah, so we have less than a minute to go, and I'd love to ask you this as my final question. Where do you think this is leaving Atiku Abubakar as it stands today? Is he making the same mistakes? Do you think he might be the flag bearer, the presidential candidate for the ADC? What do you see, especially with Peter Obi saying that he is not going for a vice presidential opportunity?
Well, politics is an open-ended game. It's like you're on the chessboard. It's an open-ended game. Atiku has clearly shown it that he wants to run.
Yes.
He has said it. Peter Obi has said he is going to run. And if he has to run on the platform of the Labour Party, so be it. So you can see the Abure faction. They are too weak to pose any challenge. Forget all the noise that Arabambi, their so-called spokesman, has been making. It's all just rubbish. You know, it's of no consequence. You know. So Peter Obi has said, yes, I am not leaving the Labour Party. I'm still the Labour Party, but I'm also part of the coalition. And what is a coalition? Just, you know, a committee of friends now. Yeah. In a committee of friends. He has not said he's moving to ADC. But Atiku has left PDP. He has not said he's moving to ADC. Atiku has not said he's moving to ADC. It is some others. Aregbesola moved to ADC. David Mark moved to ADC. So we'll still keep our fingers crossed whether Atiku will move to ADC or whether he has another game plan. Because don't forget, Buhari's death has changed the dynamics.
Yes,
of politics in Nigeria.
Exactly. Especially with the home front, the APC right now, they are totally
that changed the dynamics
right now.
Right now, the North, there is no clear leader in the North. Nobody is a clear leader in the North. So you have Atiku, you have El-Rufai, you have Kwankwaso is mainly limited to Kano. He's not leading anything outside Kano. He used to have a stronghold in Kaduna, but gradually, because he was neither in APC, nor PDP, nor NNPP. NNPP even said they've expelled him. So, you know, but clearly, Atiku and El-Rufai
are like the leaders,
interim leaders of the North.
Yeah.
And I was telling some people yesterday, I was asking a question in the meeting yesterday. I asked them this question. I said, what if Atiku, having left PDP, comes up to say that, okay, I will keep my options open, but I want to I'll rather stay as a leader of the North and then support P2B and El-Rufai. P2B presidential candidate, El-Rufai is running mate. What will happen? So, that's why I said politics is fluid. It's an open-ended game. The fact that he has left PDP, he has left everybody guessing. There's still enough time. Atiku can decide not to say, I'm going to any party for now. He will keep everybody guessing. You see has up till next year, up till about either August or September next year, you know, to decide. Even he still has up to, let's even say, up to May next year to not say anything about. Still be holding meetings with the coalition, but not say anything about this is the political party I'm moving to. He can still keep his fingers crossed while the Tinubu camp will just be running up and down and be guessing, what does Atiku want to do? What next? What next? What next? You know, while aligned. If you notice yesterday in Daura, you saw the three of them sat.
Yes.
So Atiku sat to the right, El-Rufai in the middle, and P2B to the left. Yeah. So don't, you see the optics, you know, the optics matter. So we cannot dismiss, we cannot reach any definitive conclusion on what will be done. Atiku, yes, to all intents and purposes, looks like he's going to run. But what if he doesn't make that move on the chessboard? What if? What will happen? It's still open-ended.
Very true. Open-ended question. The permutation still running around, and pundits are making all of the draft and pinning one to another, you know, connecting one dot to another. But in all of this, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, the big elephant in the room, INEC, the security, judiciary, very pivotal to the decision that might be at the end of the day. So I do not know how the opposition will take care of all of this very so vital, pivotal structure that is within the length and the breadth of the APC. They have it all, and they can do with it whatever it is they are choosing. But of course, let's see how it goes, and let's see how that turns up. Right here on Enterprise Television, we promise to unfold some of those things, and of course bring to you pundits and analysts that will come do lots of discussion as we move forward. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being here.
Thank you very
Truly
much.
do appreciate you. All right, people, that's just about the time we have. A lot to say. Thank you to you for making this picture complete. Please do well to visit us. If you may, you can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwibike. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Very much for being back, and if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for today. In a bid to strengthen internal accountability and uphold professional standards, the Nigeria Police Force has summoned 151 senior officers to appear before the Force Disciplinary Committee, FDC, over various pending disciplinary cases. According to the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, the disciplinary hearing began on July 14th and will run through July 25, 2025 at the Force headquarters in Abuja. The FDC, responsible for handling allegations of misconduct and ethical violations among officers from the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police and above, is conducting a comprehensive and transparent review of the cases. The officers drawn from different commands and formations across the country will be assessed in accordance with established police disciplinary protocols before final recommendations are made to the Police Service Commission. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun reiterated his administration's zero tolerance for indiscipline and misconduct, stressing that the police force remains committed to professionalism, accountability, and public trust. He noted that the disciplinary process demonstrates the force's dedication to upholding internal integrity and the rule of law. As they have with me, Ikechukwu Amechi, thank you so very much for hanging on, sir. We truly do appreciate you.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you. So let's get talking on the police force. I'd love to start by saying, interestingly, activist Omoyele Sowore would be going out on a protesting for the welfare of the Nigerian police force officers, the rank and file, who are most affected when it comes to their formation and everything that concerns them. You go to their barracks, it's looking very shabby. It's not a place anyone would love to call a home and all of that. Now, do you think that what we have from our reportage is stemming from that? This is more like an institutional corrosion that we have. Do you buy that submission?
Well, the story said 151 middle-ranking officers are going to face disciplinary measures. The Force Disciplinary Committee, which is an internal working mechanism of the police force aimed at cleansing, as it were, so what they think. An 11-day exercise that will start from July 14th to July 25th. So the idea, like they stated, is to enhance professionalism, stamp out corruption, and all that. But Henry, you see, this is only but the tip of the iceberg.
What do you mean?
That the police public relations officer announced this with all amount of fanfare is to tell the people that, look, we are doing something. But at the end of the day, yes, it is good that the police is doing something internally to do the cleansing. What needs to be done is a comprehensive police reform that will go a long way. I said it is the tip of the iceberg because of the 300 and something thousand workforce of the Nigerian police. If you do a real forensic investigation analysis, over 100,000 will also be facing this same Force Disciplinary Committee, FDC. So 151 is simply an infinitesimal part of the problem we have in the system. And why comprehensive police reform? Look, there is public distrust, overwhelming public distrust. There is corruption, and there is impunity. There is lack of accountability, and the way police people treat Nigerians, they do that as an adversarial force instead of the main internal security force that we have that should have a better working relationship with the people.
But do you think this comes with the job itself? Because this is not peculiar to us. Across the world, it's the same story. In the United States, you still see the same thing. You see policemen, doing all sorts of things. You can see the Black Lives Matter issue was made possible as a result of a police officer who was overdoing what he was sent to do. So is this a symbolism of what comes with the force, with the job itself? And maybe is it possible to domesticate it so we can solve it from our own confine?
Of course, we are. Of course, we should solve our problems internally. Of course, that's why I'm talking about a comprehensive reform. It is not something you do just that you are putting 151 middle level officers, subjecting them to this Force Disciplinary Committee, and you think, it is El Dorado. After that, we're going to have a police force that we can now say is living up to expectation. You have cited the case of the United States of America. To an extent, yes, but the issue is that they do those things only to blacks,
which is still not professional.
Which is
no
not
matter the race it's been mated on.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree. Which is not professional. But the reason is that it is not as widespread as the human rights abuses that we have here. You need to go to a police station to see how people are abused. In Imo State, there is a police base called Tiger Base. Henry, if you go there and come out alive, you thank your God. People are reduced to subhuman level, subjected to all manner of indescribable indignities that when they come out, they never remain the same again until they die. So the level of human rights abuses and the corruption in the system goes beyond these 151 middle-level officers. So what we need is a comprehensive police reform that will also not only look at the bad side, but also, like Nashawere was not saying, the police officers also, they need to have better service conditions. Of all the security services, I think they are about the worst paid compared to the military, compared to DSS. They're about the worst paid. Have you been to their barracks? And all that. So, if you also want the best out of our policemen, then their welfare must be taken into consideration.
Yeah, we understand their welfare will be taken into consideration because the data that we have in 2025 budget, they have been given 1.5 trillion naira for their upkeep, which includes the money for their paid renovation of barracks and health facilities within the barracks and all whatnot. I think the federal government is doing what it should do, but those at the top echelon are those who are complicit to some of these things. So don't you think we should be looking at that pedestal? If we can purge that out of that system, then maybe possibly it will trickle down to the man right there on our street collecting 50-50 naira.
Of course, that was what I said earlier. I said arraigning or disciplining 151 people is just the tip of the iceberg, because the corruption is endemic. It runs far deeper. It goes from, don't be surprised that the 50-50 naira the policeman on the street is collecting does not end up with him alone.
Okay.
He submits to his superior officers, to the DPO who sent him out. Okay. From the DPO, he goes to the commissioner. And from the commissioner, he goes up there. And that's why in promotion, if you are a good boy, Yes. You are sent to places that are deemed lucrative. If you're a bad boy, you are sent to places where you could stay a year without getting one kobo. So the man on the street who, of course, the ordinary person like you and I see every day, they are definitely not the issue. The issue is that we have a system that is inherently corrupt. Yes, even if we say that the money voted for the police is not adequate, but even the little they get, the little again in quote, what are they doing with it? And who is being held accountable? You can't go to a police station. If you have a case now and you call the police, or you have some people intruding into your property and you call the police, they may likely tell you to bring fuel money because the car or the van has no petrol. You can't give a divisional police officer an allocation of 30,000 naira every month to fuel all the vehicles in his division and think that it will work. Of course it won't work. So the rot is deeper, and that is why I said what we need is a comprehensive police reform. And the comprehensive police reform will start from the head and not from the people down there. Because even if, assuming, without considering that these 151 people are found guilty, yes, and adequate punishment is meted out to them, what does it change? What does it change? It changes nothing. So, yes, it is a good step in the right direction. At least they are being subjected to a disciplinary measure that will entail they are defending themselves if there are allegations against them. So to that extent, fine. It's like trying somebody orderly room trial. There are opportunities for you to say, this is what you are being accused of. What do you have to say? And you say, this is why I did this, or this is why I didn't do that. And even after the Force Disciplinary Committee has finished with its decision, it will be referred to the Police Service Commission that will take the final decision, either to say, okay, you've committed no crime, or you've committed a crime, the punishment is dismissal, or you've committed a crime, the punishment is reduction in rank, or whatever punishment that is deemed fit for the gravity of the crime they have been deemed to commit. But it goes beyond that. What is ailing the Nigerian police force is not 151 people. It is a systemic rot that needs comprehensive reform. And I am saying that this reform should also include not only looking at the infractions, the corruption, the abuse of human rights, the lack of accountability. All these things are there. And it is these things that are fueling public distrust of an institution that should be their best friends. There is this police, the police is your best friend. Ideally, it should be so. Because when you run into a problem, the first people you call is the police. When you are driving on the road a lonely stretch of road and you see a police van parked now somewhere, it gives you a level of confidence that it is safe. So the police, ideally, is our best friend, because that is the institution. Don't mind this one, they are bringing the military into internal security. They say everywhere now you see soldiers. That is the responsibility of the police.
I'm very excited you talked about the comprehensive police reform, but do you think that IGP Egbetokun should still be there heading the Nigerian police force? Remember, he is due to have retired, but he has still maintained there. Lots of things have changed according and as a result of the interest, the political interest that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has for him. Do you think Egbetokun should still remain there if really this comprehensive police reform should be attained to?
It is Egbetokun's continued stay in office is part of the whole lot of impunities that have come to characterize the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last 2 years. Of course, the law has not been changed. IGP is over 60 years.
Yes.
So his tenure ought to have ended.
Yes.
It is explicitly stated in our ground norm, either 35 years of service, or if you are 10, 60 years, whichever comes now first. So for them to now say that IGP's this thing is tenured, and therefore because he has a 4-year tenure, that he can't go, is simply the political system trying to be smart by half. And like you rightly pointed out, that also helps in eroding the esprit de corps in the service, because his continuing in office is also going to affect the upward movement of other officers. So people have gone to court, but again, what does it matter if you go to court in a country where impunity reigns supreme and nobody listens to what the courts are saying? And it's not only him. I think the tenure of some other people have also expired, and the man unilaterally continues to extend, because those are the people he can trust. Those are his people. And that's part of the things that have gone fundamentally wrong in this country since the Buhari days. Buhari appointed into office those he can trust. Buhari is also appointing, Tinubu is also appointing into office those he can trust.
From his region.
And those he can trust are only people from his region, yet he's the president of Nigeria.
Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And the resources they are superintending over come from all of us, come from the entire country. The values which is authoritatively allocating, our collective values, they are not values from the Southwest, nor were they values from the North when Buhari was there. But you see, that is why it's not good to allow something bad not to fester, because Buhari did it for 8 years and got away with it. Tinubu is doing it. And how can you now say, if somebody comes up tomorrow to say, oh, no, don't do it, when Buhari did it and Tinubu did it and they got away with it? So how can you stop? So Nigeria continues going down the bad road every day because we have leaders who neither have respect for the Constitution nor the people. And if you continue to be so, if Nigerians don't stand up as a united people to say enough is enough, this is not about ethnicity, this is not about religion, this is not about creed. This is about a people and what we want. The guys who are doing this, who are riding roughshod on all of us, are not even a fraction. They are not up to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
In a country where we claim to have people quote every day, some say 200 million, some say
200 million.
Some say 220, some say 230. But even if we take 200 million, 1,000 people holding all of us to ransom, I don't blame them, I blame us.
Very true. Now, just before we call it a quid for this particular episode, let's maybe divert a little bit to the southeast of Nigeria, looking at the security pandemic or the lack of security in the southeast of Nigeria, a very ugly situation. Now, you talked about erosion of public trust for the Nigerian police. I love to believe in the southeast of Nigeria, it has ballooned, it has increased. From my local government, Njaba local government area of Imo State, hardly you would find a personnel of the Nigerian police force anywhere. And the reason is because the community have so much exfoliated themselves from loving the Nigerian police. And that has totally affected the community, has given rise to jungle justice. People don't go to the Nigerian police force even when they have a feud or fracas with anyone. They rather love to settle it their own kind of way. And as a result of that, we see chaos, we have insecurity manifesting itself. How do you think a region, a community can solve issues like this? Knowing, of course, the challenges the Nigerian police force is still going with.
It's unfortunate, of course. What is going on in the southeast is unfortunate, and some of us started shouting when this nonsense started. Look, nobody has a right to take another person's life. That when the jungle justice started, you see a policeman, you kill him. And all that. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. No matter the level of grievance you think you have, to go after a policeman who is on the road and you gun him down, it didn't make sense. Of course, it led to a level that in fact, even if you have a case and you call the police, they won't come.
They won't come. They never go close.
So, what do we have on our hands? We have the typical Obesian state of nature, where life is brutish, nasty, and short. There are so many places in Olo that people don't go home again.
Yes.
What we have is jungle justice and all that. That can never solve the problems. It can never. Whatever is the issue, whether it is that you are fighting for Biafra or you are fighting for anything, that level of bestiality does not take you close to whatever you claim to be fighting. Instead, the society goes to the dogs, because at the end of the day, all the young people have fled.
Yes, literally everyone, everywhere.
So, how can a community develop when people are deserting in droves because of insecurity? So, there is, even if we say there is public distrust, there is corruption, there is this. You can say 1 and a million things about policemen. Their penchant for abusing human rights is legendary. I agree. But that does not give anybody any license to kill, wantonly kill policemen. Because the more you do it, the more you also leave your communities very, very vulnerable.
Very true.
So it's a problem. Unfortunately, the political leadership that we have in Imo State right now, I'm not too sure they are doing what they ought to do. I'm not too sure they are calming nerves. I'm not too sure they are doing things that will make the situation better. All I can do here is to appeal to our youth that route is a very wrong route. Don't go killing security people. If I don't go taking the life of anyone, why? You see the level of atrocities that are being committed, and you ask yourself, why? People will go to a beer parlor and gun down 20 people. And you ask yourself, what are they fighting for? What is cult-related violence? What is it all about? What is rituals? What is it all about? The Igbo man is a better person.
Very true. Very so true.
The Igbo man is a better person. This was not how we were. And it does not reflect who we are. So all those behind these atrocities should refrain and behave as human beings created by God. The society can never benefit from the level of mayhem that is going on in the southeast, particularly Imo State right now.
And do you think the quest for a successional state can be achieved without necessarily having to shed blood? Historically, have we seen institutions, have we seen communities, have we seen countries that have gone their separate ways without spilling blood?
Yes, there are some separations in history. Don't forget, I think Singapore separated from Malaysia. They didn't go to war to do that. Even when Bangladesh separated from when Pakistan separated from India, they didn't go to war to do that. Even when Bangladesh left Pakistan, they didn't necessarily go to war. There are places where people have separated amicably without going to war. But even if we say, look, what pains me with what is going on in the southeast is that, what is the end game? What do these people want to achieve? Okay, you are killing. Killing who? The same people you say you want
to give the freedom to.
To give the freedom. Over 90% of those who are killed in the southeast are Igbos.
Yes.
Are Igbos. So what's the point?
So which means Chukwuma Soludo was the professor was right when he said that according to his research, that lots of people who commit criminalities are Igbos and not the so-called Fulani herdsmen. He's right with that statement.
Chukwuma Soludo is the governor of Anambra State. He must have his security report from which he said what he said. But Henry, my mother was kidnapped 4 years ago, and those who kidnapped her were not Fulani herdsmen. People came to her living room to pick her up and kept her away for about 5 days. And the people who kidnapped her were not Fulani herdsmen. That's all I can say.
It's actually very sad. You know, the truth of the matter is, in the southeast of Nigeria, we are not at war. But unfortunately, it seems to us that we are having a pseudo sort of war. I lost my elder brother, you know, a year before now. He reluctantly came to the village to visit our parent, and on his way going back to Owerri, the unknown, so-called unknown gunmen invaded the police station, and when they were being chased by the military, some of them escaped, and in the process, my elder brother came across them. In the course of wanting to take his car, they shot him, and that was how he died. And the truth of the matter is, those who had committed this crime are not Fulani herdsmen. They are same people fighting for whatever it is they desire for. These same people they are killing and maiming. It's so very sad that everyone has a bitter taste of some of these things. And sometimes when we say these things, we say it from a point of emotion because we know we are affected by some of the things happening in the southeast of Nigeria. But of course, we hope for better days. We can only get it right when the Nigerian police force do what they should do. You would agree with me, Kenya, for example, had gotten to a level where their police force is being sent to Haiti to make peace in another region, miles away from their place. Do you think, in our last closing remark, do you think we'll ever get to that point where the Nigerian police will be sent on a United Nations assignment, just like Kenya has done with going to Haiti to bring peace?
When we started doing that before Kenya, Kenya is a recent development. Go and check Nigeria's checkered police history. We've always been sent on UN assignments. In most cases, we led UN delegations for peace in so many countries, and the officers gave good account of themselves. They said so. This thing is not about the professionalism of the average Nigerian policeman. The problem is the rot in the system, the systemic rot. And that is why when they go out, they excel. They are given awards. In so many countries, Nigerian policemen have excelled in UN peacekeeping operations. In many countries, the officers who participated in those operations were given awards because of their exemplary professionalism. So how is it that when those people come back here, they behave differently? So it is the systemic rot that we are talking about. So Kenya is not doing anything new.
Okay.
It is that our system continues to fail our people.
Very so sad. We have to leave it at this particular point, and hope that we would see better days going forward in Nigeria. Without peace, no foreign direct investment would come, and peace only comes when the Nigerian police force, especially in Nigeria, is taken care of. So we work and we hope for better days for the Nigerian police force. And that's about the time we have. Love to say thank you so very much, Ikechukwu Amici, for being here. I truly do appreciate you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you so very much. Just indeed having a wonderful conversation with you today. And that's just about the time we have. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can always find us At enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwe.